Whenever we plan to go to a particular place where we have never been before, so we try to collect all possible information about that particular place, about that particular journey. Like for example, how to reach to that particular place, what to eat, where to stay at that particular place, what is gonna be the climate of that particular place, etc. etc. So the same principle applies on the examination as well. So if you are planning to prepare for any particular examination, so you have to have idea about the few factors. Like for example, you have to have idea about the pattern of that particular examination. You have to have idea about the syllabus of that particular examination, like in how many phases the exam is conducted, what are the syllabus of that particular examination, like what are the topics covered in the syllabus of that particular examination, what are the important topics, what are the less important topics that you need to cover in order to clear that particular examination. So all these dimensions, so you have to have idea about all these dimensions if you are planning to prepare for any particular examination. So hello friends, welcome to EduTap. I am Prakash. I am a company secretary and a law graduate, and today we are going to discuss about one such exam, that is SEBI Grade A Legal Officer. So we will be discussing the pattern and syllabus of this particular examination. So let's proceed. So friends, first of all, we will be discussing about the pattern of this examination, and after that we will be discussing about the syllabus of this particular examination. So let's proceed with the pattern first. So if we talk about the pattern, so this exam has been divided into three phases. That is phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3, which is interview, right? Phase 1 is qualifying in nature, in which the candidates who qualify phase 1 will be promoted for further process, that is for phase 2 and interview, right friends? So this is a qualifying phase, the marks of which will not be counted for the purpose of merit. The marks of phase 2 and interview will be counted for the purpose of merit, right friends? So this is a qualifying examination and this is a compulsory, which is, that means the marks of these phases, that is phase 2 and phase 3, that is interview, will be counted for the purpose of merit. So this was about the brief of phases. Let's discuss in detail about these phases in quite detailed manner, right? So if we talk about phase 1, so phase 1 consists of two papers, that is paper 1 and paper 2. So if we talk about each paper separately, then paper 1 consists of 4 components, that is general awareness, English language, quantitative aptitude and test of reasoning. And these all 4 components have 20 questions each, right? That means the number of questions will be 80. So 80 questions will be there in all these 4 components, and the marks allotted to each component is 25 each. So this makes the total of 100 marks, right? That means each question will be of 1.25 marks, because there will be 80 questions and which is of 100 marks. So this makes each question of 1.25 marks. So if we talk about the cutoff, so cutoff will be 30%. So there is no provision of sectional cutoff. There is no provision of merit based cutoff. So you have to just score 30% out of 100 if you want to clear paper 1 of phase 1, right? That means you have to score 30 out of 100 if you want to clear this paper 1 of phase 1, right? If we talk about the duration, then 60 minutes will be allotted for to solve all the 80 questions. So the time period of 1 hour will be allotted to solve 80 questions, right? And friends, there is a provision of negative marking, which is 1/4. So negative marking of 1/4 will be there in paper 1 of phase 1. So this was about the paper 1 of phase 1. Let's discuss about the paper 2 of phase 1. So friends, if we talk about paper 2 of phase 1, so paper 2 is is of legal stream, right? We are going to discuss about the legal stream. All other streams are also mentioned here, but we will be focusing on the legal stream. So if we talk about the paper 2 of phase 1, so the maximum marks will be 100 marks, right? And the questions will be 50. So 50 questions will be there of 100 marks. That means 2 marks for each question, right? 2 marks for each question. So for each question you have to, there will be a 2 marks for that particular question. So that makes the competition quite competitive, right? You can say. So the duration will be the 40 minutes. So in 40 minutes you have to attempt 50 questions, right? This is a challenge. You have to attempt 50 questions in 40 minutes. For paper 1, there was the time of 60 minutes we have discussed. But if you talk about the paper 2, so for paper 2 there will be the time of 40 minutes, right? So this is the challenge. And the cutoff is also higher if we talk about the if we compare the cutoff with the paper 1 of phase 1. So here the cutoff is 40%. That means you have to score 40 out of 100 if you want to clear this paper of phase 1. Right, friends? If we talk about further, so again there is a provision of negative marking here in this paper also. That is 1/4 will be the negative marking here also, right? But here is a condition that combined aggregate cutoff for paper 1 and paper 2 is 40%. That is 80 marks from out of 200 marks. So if you want to clear the phase 1, so you have to score at least 80 marks out of 200 marks. So there is an aggregate cutoff. There is a separate cutoff for each paper we have discussed. That is 30% for paper 1 and 40% for paper 2, right? But there is the provision of aggregate cutoff as well. So you have to score 40%. This is the aggregate cutoff. So we know that both paper consist of 200 marks, right? Total of 200 marks. So if we talk about the 40%, so you have to score 80 marks out of 200 if you want to clear the phase 1 of this examination, right? I hope you got the clarity about this overall calculation. Now let's move to discuss about the phase 2. So friends, if we talk about the phase 2, then again it consists of 2 papers, that is paper 1 and paper 2. So paper 1 consists of descriptive English, right? This is a descriptive English that you have to type in the examination center. So this will be a 100 marks, right? So 100 marks will is allotted to paper 1 and 100 marks is allotted to paper 2. So if we talk about the descriptive English component, then duration will be 60 minutes again. So you will be given 60 minutes to attempt the paper of descriptive English, that is paper 1 of phase 2. Cutoff, if we talk about the cutoff, then again here also the cutoff for paper 1 is 30%. Right, so 30% cutoff is there and weightage is 1/3. So here weightage is also mentioned, that is there will be 1/3 weightage of paper 1. If we talk about the paper 2, then there will be the the paper will consist of 50 questions of 100 marks. So here also there will be 50 questions which will be of 100 marks, right? And the duration, the time allotted for paper 2 is 40 minutes. So this is 40 minutes, right? Again in phase 1 also there was the time of 40 minutes, and here also you will be given the time of 40 minutes, right? The cutoff same as we have discussed for phase 1, that is 30% for paper 1 and 40% for paper 2. So here the case is the same, right? And if we talk about the weightage, so there will be the weightage of 2/3 for paper 2. So 1/3 for descriptive English, that is paper 1, and 2/3 for the specific subject for that is 40%, that is 2/3, right? So 1/3 for paper 1 and 2/3 for paper 2, right? So this was about the phase 2. If we talk about the paper 1, that is descriptive English part, so it consists of 3 questions, that is one is essay writing, second is précis writing, and third is reading comprehension, right? Third is reading comprehension. And if we talk about paper 2, so it consists of 50 questions that we have already discussed, right, friends? Then all question papers in both phases except the test of English will be set bilingually in Hindi and English, right, friends? So those who face any problem in English or Hindi, so they can attempt the paper in any of the language. Then weightage of marks obtained in phase 2 will be 85%. So this is quite important information, that the marks obtained in phase 2, the weightage of the marks obtained in phase 2 will be 85%, and marks obtained in interview shall be given a weightage of 15%. That makes the importance of phase 2, right? So this makes the phase 2 very important in terms of, because in terms of कैलकुलेशन ऑफ मार्क्स, राइट? तो यहां पर मार्क्स कैलकुलेट करने के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से दिस फेज इज क्वाइट इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज 85%, द वेटेज ऑफ 85% इज गिवन फॉर फेज 2 and remaining 15% is given for the interview process, right friends? So this was about the phase 2. Let's proceed to understand the criteria of phase 3, that is interview. So phase 3 is our interview. We have already discussed that the weightage assigned to interview, that is phase 3, is 15%, right friends? So candidate may opt for interview either in Hindi or English. So those who are not comfortable in Hindi or those who are not comfortable in English, so they can choose their the language, they can choose the language in which they are comfortable, right? So this was about the 3 phases of examination, that is the pattern of examination. So we have seen that there will be 50 questions in paper 2, both in phase 1 as well as in phase 2. So friends, but we have to have idea about the questions, the topics from where the question is going to be asked, right? So हमें वो topics पता होने चाहिए, right? हमें topics पता होने चाहिए जहां से वो 50 questions frame किए जाएंगे, right? So we have to have idea about that particular topics. So we are talking about the syllabus, right? तो हमें syllabus की clarity होना चाहिए, then only we can attempt all those 50 questions, right? So now let's discuss about the syllabus. So we have discussed about the pattern. Now let's try to understand the syllabus of this particular examination. So syllabus of SEBI Grade A Legal Officer exam. So friends, this is the syllabus of phase 1, right? If we talk about the syllabus in separately for phase 1 and phase 2, so this is the syllabus of phase 1. तो phase 1 के लिए syllabus क्या है? That is the Constitution of India, in which preamble, part 1, part 3rd, part 4th, part 4th A, part 5th, part 6th, part 8th, part 9th A, part 9th B and part 11th is mentioned. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पर syllabus is you can say सिलेबस बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से मेंशन किया हुआ है सेबी के एग्जामिनेशन में, सेबी ग्रेड ए लीगल ऑफिसर के एग्जाम में. तो सिलेबस इज क्वाइट स्पेसिफिकली मेंशन, राइट? सो वी डोंट गेट एनी कंफ्यूजन, और हमें किसी भी तरीके की प्रॉब्लम नहीं जाएगी इस चीज को समझने के लिए. सो दैट इज द एडवांटेज कि यहां पर सिलेबस बहुत अच्छी तरीके से मेंशन किया हुआ है. नेक्स्ट इज लॉ ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स. सो इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट 1872, चैप्टर्स 1 to 6, राइट? नेक्स्ट इज स्पेसिफिक रिलीफ एक्ट 1963. Next topic is criminal law, that is Indian Penal Code 1860, chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5A, 6, 9th and 17th. Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. Next is law of evidence, that is Indian Evidence Act 1872. Then Code of Civil Procedure 1908, and that too part 1 and part 2 only for phase 1. Right? For phase 1 paper 2, only part 1 and part 2 will be asked from the Code of Civil Procedure. Then next is administrative law and principle of natural justice. Then next topic is jurisprudence and interpretation of statutes. Then important Latin terms and maxims. Then law of torts and Consumer Protection Act 2019. Right? So you have to read the Consumer Protection Act 2019. Then next is Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996, part 1. So only part 1 is relevant for phase 1 examination, right? So for phase 1 paper 2, you have to refer only part 1 of Arbitration and Conciliation Act. Transfer of Property Act 1882, chapter 3, chapter 4 and chapter 5. So you can see the syllabus is quite specifically mentioned, right? So यहाँ पर आपको problem नहीं जाने वाली है syllabus के regarding, because sometimes syllabus is quite vague. So we get confused कि क्या पढ़ना है, क्या छोड़ना है, right? But here in the syllabus of SEBI Legal Officer exam, it is specifically mentioned, right? So ये एक बहुत बड़ा advantage है इस exam के लिए. Then Companies Act में बहुत सारे chapters cover किए गए हैं. Here you can see that a lot of chapters have been covered from the Companies Act 2013. उसके बाद securities laws like SEBI Act, 1992, Securities Contract Regulation Act 1956 एंड डिपॉजिटरीज एक्ट ऑफ 1996, राइट। तो यहाँ पे सिलेबस इस तरीके से स्पेसिफिकली मेंशन किया गया है। सो दोज हु आर द लॉ ग्रेजुएट्स, we have already read all these, right? We have to cover these components quite for the purpose of this examination, otherwise हमने ये सारे component, सारे topics we have already covered, right? So और एक और बहुत अच्छी चीज सिलेबस के बारे में अगर यहाँ पर डिस्कस करें तो यहाँ पर वेटेज भी दिया हुआ, राइट। सो वेटेज इज स्पेसिफिकली मेंशन्ड फॉर एवरी टॉपिक। सो इफ यू टॉक अबाउट द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन वाला पोर्शन तो उसके लिए 10% वेटेज दिया हुआ है। इफ यू टॉक अबाउट लॉ ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स, इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट एंड स्पेसिफिक रिलीफ एक्ट, तो उसके लिए 10% का वेटेज दिया हुआ है। If you talk about the component number 3, that is criminal law, Indian penal code and code of criminal procedure, तो उसके लिए 15% का वेटेज दिया गया। इसी तरीके से सारे कंपोनेंट के लिए वेटेज यहां पर स्पेसिफिकली मेंशन किया गया है कि एग्जामिनेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से ये टॉपिक्स किस प्रोपोर्शन में, किस वेटेज में इंपॉर्टेंट है, राइट। यहां पे देख रहे होंगे सेबी के जो सेबी रिलेटेड लॉज हैं, दैट इज द सिक्योरिटीज लॉज जो भी है हमारे, उसके लिए वेटेज 15% है। सो ये बहुत अच्छा प्रोविजन है, बहुत अच्छा एक अप्रोच है सेबी की कि वहां पे वेटेज भी मेंशन कर दिया गया है, सो दैट यू डू नॉट गेट कंफ्यूज्ड व्हाइल प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर दिस एग्जामिनेशन एंड व्हाइल कवरिंग दीज टॉपिक्स, राइट। सो दिस वाज अबाउट द फेज 1। लेट्स डिस्कस द सिलेबस ऑफ फेज 2 आल्सो। So this is the syllabus of phase 2. So if we talk about the paper 2 of phase 2, so this is the syllabus. तो syllabus is quite same. कुछ topics add कर दिए गए हैं यहाँ पर, सिलेबस सेम है, कुछ पार्ट ऐड कर दिए गए अगर हम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की बात करें, कुछ चैप्टर्स ऐड कर दिए गए अगर हम दूसरे लेजिस्लेशन की बात करें, और 2-3 टॉपिक्स ऐसे हैं जो नए इंट्रोड्यूस कर दिए गए। लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम देखें यहाँ पर, तो यहाँ पर इंडियन पार्टनरशिप एक्ट एक यहाँ पर ऐड कर दिया गया, राइट। इंडियन पार्टनरशिप एक्ट, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में भी कुछ पार्ट्स ऐड कर दिए गए हैं फेज 2 में। यहाँ पर सेकेंड टॉपिक में देखें तो इंडियन पार्टनरशिप एक्ट 1932 इज एडेड, रेस्ट ऑल द सेम, सारी चीजें बाकी सेम है अगर हम फेज 1 की बात करें, ठीक है। यहां पर ये इंडियन पार्टनरशिप एक्ट ऐड कर दिया गया था। यहाँ पे जो हमारा आईपीसी इंडियन पिनल कोड, वहां के कुछ चैप्टर्स यहां पर ऐड कर दिए गए एडिशनल। कोड ऑफ क्रिमिनल प्रोसीजर सेम पहले भी था। लॉ ऑफ एविडेंस एक्ट 1872 की बात करें तो वो चीज यहां पर पहले से थी फेज 1 के पेपर 2 में भी। अगर हम सीपीसी की बात करें तो यहाँ पर पार्ट 2, पार्ट 3, पार्ट 4, 5th, पार्ट 7 एंड शेड्यूल 1 ये सारे ऐड कर दिए गए हैं फेज 2 के एग्जामिनेशन के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से। ये टॉपिक सारे सेम ही हैं। लॉ ऑफ टॉर्ट्स एंड कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट 2019 ये सारे सेम है, वी हैव ऑलरेडी सीन। देन we have seen that arbitration and conciliation act only part 1 was there for phase 1 examination, but for phase 2 part 3 and part 4 has also added here, right? Then transfer of property act की बात करें, so chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5 they were already there. लॉ ऑफ ट्रस्ट यहाँ पर एक नया ऐड हुआ है, दैट इज पार्टीज टू अ ट्रस्ट डीड एंड ड्यूटीज ऑफ ट्रस्टी। सो ये एक नया कंपोनेंट, एक नया टॉपिक इज एडेड हियर इन फेज 2। इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द कॉर्पोरेट लॉ, सो कंपनीज एक्ट के जो भी चैप्टर्स थे वो ऑलरेडी हैं, कुछ चैप्टर्स यहाँ पर और नए इनकॉर्पोरेट कर दिए गए हैं और इंट्रोड्यूस कर दिए गए हैं फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ फेज 2 एग्जामिनेशन। लिमिटेड लाइबिलिटी पार्टनरशिप एक्ट 2008 इज न्यूली इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन फेज 2, दिस वाज नॉट द पार्ट ऑफ फेज 1 सिलेबस। एंड इंसॉल्वेंसी एंड बैंक्रप्सी कोड पार्ट 1 एंड पार्ट 2 इसका कवर करना है, दिस इज ऑल्सो द न्यू कंपोनेंट फॉर फेज 2, दिस वाज ऑल्सो नॉट द पार्ट ऑफ फेज 1, ठीक है। टैक्सेशन जनरल प्रिंसिपल्स, कैपिटल गेन्स टैक्स, सिक्योरिटीज ट्रांजैक्शन टैक्स, ये भी एक नया कंपोनेंट है जो फेज 2 में ऐड कर दिया गया है, विच वाज नॉट द पार्ट ऑफ द सिलेबस ऑफ फेज 1। बाकी सिक्योरिटीज लॉज, सेबी एक्ट 1992, एससीआर एक्ट, डिपॉजिटरीज एक्ट, they were the part of the syllabus of phase 1. And again here the weightage is also mentioned here again, so you can see that the corporate law, that is the Companies Act, the Limited Liability Partnership Act and Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, the 20%, the weightage of 20% is assigned for this one, right? तो इन तीनों के लिए 20% का जो वेटेज है दैट इज असाइंड। और यहाँ पे सेबी, दैट इज सिक्योरिटीज रिलेटेड जो भी लॉज हैं, जो भी लेजिस्लेशन है, सो they have been assigned the weightage of 20%, right? So 20%, and if you talk about the constitution wala portion, so these three components, right? These three components consist of 50% of your paper, right friends? तो आपको इसी अप्रोच से आपको प्रिपरेशन करनी है, वेटेज के हिसाब से आप प्रिपरेशन करें, so you will cover most of the syllabus in very less time. So this should be your approach, right? If you talk about the weightage, so here it is written that weightages are indicative only. So this is a kind of disclaimer, but they generally follow the weightage which they have given in the syllabus, right friends? So this was about the pattern and the syllabus of the SEBI Grade A Legal Officer examination. I hope you got the clarity regarding the pattern and the syllabus. We'll come with another important, qualitative video, another qualitative content for you. So till then, goodbye and have a good day.